This be day 26, and the question is, what is your gaming ambition for the next year? Well, once again, as you can see, I'm doing a set of videos in sequence and then spacing them out over the days because it's just easier sometimes. And I work some really crazy whack hours. I probably will have close to 18 or 19 hours in since yesterday morning, with some blocks of time in between that were off. So theoretically speaking, I've been working off and on since 6 o'clock yesterday. And I'm getting tired and a bit off my rocker to some degree, which just says something because the fat man's really off his rocker. But honestly, I'm really in the need of a shave, and my gray really starts to show when my whiskers there would be 5 o'clock shadow gets to be thicker than it ought to be, which is sad, I guess. If I gotta go gray somewhere first, it's in the beard. Oh well. What are my game ambitions for the next year? I wish I could say I have any. That's part of my problem is I have procrastination issues to begin with. I'm dealing with off and on bits of bouts of depression. I have some projects on my own that I really have been putting on the back burner for quite a while now, and it's eating at me to some degree, including my own game system and the novels that I've been working on over the last 10 years. They're waiting to be finished, they're finished. They just need to be polished and put onto a digital format, and then put out there for everybody to thumb their noses at. Then there's, I don't know what to say, uh, this house situation is taking its toll too. The wife and I'm trying to focus hard on getting us into a home, and it's much, much harder than I envisioned it would be, in part because the market is very thin here, and I'm not tooting a horn here for Iowa or the Des Moines area specifically, but I saw in the news just the other day that we are at 2.3 unemployment, which is like an unheard of record for this neck of the woods. I mean, it's been 2.5 the past year and a half, 2 years, and now it's down to 2.3. The job market, everybody's hiring. There are lots of jobs and lots of good jobs too. So it's, an employee's market right now. I could be making $4 or $5 more an hour working for somebody else than where I'm at. But my employers have been very generous, and they're helping us through some very hard times. And it's not a terrible job. I mean, the job is terrible to some degree, but there's some perks and some advantages to it. But there's a lot of disadvantages. And this is one of those days, right, where I worked all night and I only had a couple more jobs to do, and something on the truck breaks. And then my employer's, can you get this done? Can you get in there? Can you get under there? Can you get a measurement? I hadn't even got back to the shop yet. And he's already wanting to know I said, come on. I just drove back to the shop and haven't had a chance to climb under it, and it's been raining all night. The ground's narky. The truck's been leaking oil like a sieve, and so the garage floor is awash in oil because somebody won't buy oil dry so I can clean it, and I'm not buying it myself. And I still had 2 jobs to do. Meanwhile, on this particular stretch, I've been going since 8 o'clock last night, and then I worked for 4 hours in the afternoon with about a 5-hour break in between, and I took a nap. And prior to that, I worked 6 hours in the morning. You see, I'm a little bit loopy from the lack of sleep right now, and a little tired, and getting there. Right. I was looking forward to going out and spending the weekend at a campground to get away from the shop. But with the truck down, I'm likely to have to be around the shop. And then I looked at my schedule for next week, and the nice lady who's still learning how to schedule things kind of screwed up on schedule for Monday, which means in order to get that 12-hour job, she has scheduled Monday that overlaps with several other jobs, which would basically equivalent of 28 hours in a 24-hour window, and that's not going to happen. Means I should probably do that job Sunday, so much for having Sunday off. Right. And that's assuming, of course, we can get the pump on the truck, the PTO system working, so the pump works. So I guess we'll be sticking around with the shop all weekend. Means more money, of course, which is always a good thing. On the home side, my pre-approval letter was set to expire, and the bank lady that's been helping us reapplied it, and she went and checked. As typical when they do this, she checked our credit rating a second time, and found that it had climbed much higher than the first time. And that's because, on the advice of my realtor, I paid off her credit cards, and I was surprised just how big of a leap in our credit rating that meant. It was only $600-700, but paid it down almost zero, and I added 30 points to her credit. I don't pretend to understand it. There's a bunch of you money guys out there. You guys probably can explain it much better than me. Well, right? The main thing was that this said, according to the bank lady, says we now qualify for a general loan, a conventional loan or whatever. So we can get an actual loan through the bank as opposed to going through the FHA and the government, which lessens the amount of hoops. And because of this thing, we qualify for some program here in Polk County, which all we have to do is take an online course, sit in on a question and answer with a counselor for an hour or so, and get a $10,500 loan, or which would be a lien against the house. So the idea being is they front us $10,000, which should be used towards the purchase of the house, whatever, I'm guessing closing costs and other items, which would be a boon. And then when the time comes and you sell your house, whether it's a year or 30 years, and that's their quote, not mine, they get the $10,000 back out of the equity of the house. And since I'm intending to die in this house, I'm all for that, right? It just means my kids will get a little bit less money. Kind of what happened to my sister and I when my mom and dad's estate kind of went in the tank. But hey, this is all about me and not about you. And then you wanted to know, what are my plans for games? Now you kind of understand why. I actually would like to get I tried to do a play-by-post here a couple weeks ago, and I'm sorry, Fernando, I really am. I don't know. I dropped the ball somewhere, and these wacky hours and all this other stuff that's on my mind, it's hard to get motivated, and I just wasn't feeling it. Meanwhile, I've had a couple of people that would be interested in getting involved in a Twilight 2000 play-by-post, and I would really like to do something like that. I just have to find somehow the motivation and the energy to do it, because if I can't do it and I can't do it right, I don't want to do it, because I don't want it to be a bomb. And ideally, once we get a house situated, then I can reassess my job situation, because I kind of wish I had a 40-hour week, or at least a job with the same shift every week. If I'm going to work every day, I make it the same shift, so I can have another life. This in the morning, in the afternoon, and then all night stuff. It just, it's exhausting. But some of you already know that. Some of you guys are workaholics. Some of you gals are workaholics. God bless all of you. So there's my answer to that question. Whether it's a good one or not, you'll have to be the judge.